Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Carissa Sorensen, and I'm the director of the Social Sciences Academic Resource Center. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I hope everyone is doing great today. It is almost Friday, the weekend, so I hope that you have something fun planned or maybe just time to rest and recoup after the week. If you are here to learn more about how you can get academic credit for your internships and learn more about Social Science 197, you are in the right place. And since we only have 30 minutes together, and when we definitely want to get to your questions at the very end, we're going to go ahead and get started right now. So thank you all again for coming. If you have any questions though, please submit them through the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. You can also use chat as well. I will also receive those comments too. But let's go ahead and get started. So this essentially is an introduction to Social Science 197. So you're probably thinking, what is Social Science 197? Great question. So this is how you as a social science student specifically can get academic credit for the internships that you complete. Now, one caveat is in terms of the actual internship, you would actually have to take this concurrently with the Social Science 197 course. So if you're thinking, well, I had an internship 3 quarters ago, 2 quarters ago, does that count as academic credit? Unfortunately not. It's something that you would have to enroll in concurrently with a future internship. So for those of you who might have an internship this upcoming fall, this is going to be a perfect class for you to consider in enrolling in for fall 2021. Okay, so a little bit more information about the actual course itself. So you can actually receive anywhere from 2 to 4 units of elective credit for your internship experiences. You can technically take this class up to 8 units. So that's, say, for example, your actual internship will be lasting not only fall quarter, but also going into winter quarter. So potentially you can actually take this course again, 197 in the fall and then also in the winter. In terms of the actual units, that is very much dependent on how many hours you're actually completing in your internship. So for 2 units, for example, you need to complete up to 50 hours in your internship. If you were doing 100 hours or over 100 hours in your internship, so that's about, let's say, 10 hours per week in a 10-week quarter system, you would be receiving 4 units. Now, if your internship is paid, and regardless of whether you're doing 50 hours or regardless if you're doing 100 hours, you would actually only be able to get up to 2 units for your internship and for the actual course itself. Now, for Social Science 197, it is a pass, no pass course. And in terms of, how does it, I suppose, get determined if you receive a pass versus a no pass? And so ultimately it depends if you're actually completing that a certain amount of hours in your internship. But also there's other components to that pass, no pass as well. So the course itself, Social Science 197, is supposed to supplement your internship experiences. So as part of the course, you'll be able to get the opportunity to do various biweekly assignments that relate to your own professional development. So what this looks like could be journal entries. So reflecting back on how your internship is going. It could be various assessments that you're taking that, provide a little bit more awareness of the strengths that you're developing or the skills that you're developing in your internship, and other assignments such as submitting your resume, your cover letter, and that's something that you would be able to get feedback on. Now, this is a course that here in the social sciences, especially at SARC, we're overseeing the course. So it'll be myself or Patrick Del Rosario, who's our program coordinator at SARC, that will be taking a look at the courses or actually at the assignments and then grading those assignments. And so essentially, if you do your internship, you complete all all your hours, you turn in all your assignments and other requirements. Typically, there's also a contract that you need to sign between you and your employer. There is the timesheet that you need to submit, and then also evaluations. And so the employer evaluates you, you evaluate your experience with the employer. And then ultimately, if you do all those things, you're successful in it, you are bound to pass. And let's say if, maybe some assignments didn't get done, or you're very close to your hours, but are not quite there, we're certainly very flexible and we want to work with you and want to make sure that we provide you that flexibility. Now, another big question that we get a lot from students, right, especially right now, since we're kind of still in this remote time, is whether your internship can be in person or if it can be virtual. So as of right now, we're for summer, we're only having virtual internships. But if you do have an in-person internship this summer, then there's actually like a whole process for you to kind of get that approved. But going into fall quarter, we are accepting both virtual and in-person. If yours happens to be in person, there's just an extra step that you have to do to just kind of confirm to us what your employer is doing to kind of just keep you safe. So just be able to kind of keep that in mind. So if this sounds like something that you would be interested in receiving credit, then the next step for you would be to actually enroll in the course. If you're looking to enroll for fall, then you can go ahead and move forward doing so. Or if you're hoping that you can get into 197 at a different quarter, then you'll just enroll at the time of your enrollment period. So in terms of the actual steps that you need to kind of consider when enrolling in the course. So first things first, you would actually need an offer letter from your employer. And so with 197, you have to have that internship already in place. At SARC, we're happy to talk to you about how do you go about in finding research or internship opportunities and how to go about in applying to those opportunities. We're also happy to review your resume, your cover letter before you actually apply. And UCI Handshake will be the best platform for you to find these opportunities. But here at SARC, we also have an internship database that you can use. And this database consists of employers that past social science 197 students have participated in. And I'll go ahead and show you where you can find that after the presentation here. But first things first, find your internship, make sure your resume, your cover letter, you feel confident about it, and submit that through Handshake, through any of the internships that you are interested in. And, you can certainly also find internships outside of Handshake. It would just need to be required like additional approval through us at SARC. We just want to make sure it's a legit internship and a legit company of sorts. And so once you have your offer letter in hand, and I know that for a lot of people, maybe you've never heard of an offer letter, or maybe perhaps never received one before. But what pretty much an offer letter is kind of stating the details of your internship. So for example, when are you starting this internship? Where is the location of this internship? Who's your supervisor? What's their contact information? Whether this is paid, non-paid, if it's going to be remote, in person. Also providing us with a clear description of what this internship is about or the goals of the actual internship, and really outlining what your responsibilities will be or what projects will be conducted as part of being in that internship. And then it needs to actually be signed by your employer or by your supervisor. Okay. And so once you have that in hand, at SARC, we do have an authorization request form that you will be filling out. So this just allows you to upload your offer letter and provide us additional details, and then we'll be able to review it. And then once it is approved, then we'll go ahead and reach out to you with your authorization code to be able to enroll in Social Science 197. Now, please note that for fall, winter, and spring, an authorization code is required to enroll. However, summer session is a little bit different in that an authorization is not required to enroll if you decide to enroll in 197 during summer session later on next year. And so once you enroll, then you'll be able to, once you have your authorization code, you'll be able to log on to WebReg and enroll in the course. And that's pretty much it. You'll be enrolled. Once you are enrolled, you'll be receiving communication from us here at SARC to actually have your employer sign a contract, and you'll also be able to sign it as well. And it's just more of an agreement, between you and your employer as well here at SARC of what it means for you to be enrolled in the course itself. So a couple of things to keep in mind is that, this course is specifically for receiving elective credit, and it also contributes to kind of your 180 unit total. And so for a lot of students, they may be thinking, well, I have an internship, but I don't really need academic credit. Should I still be enrolling in 197? And that's such a really great question, because if you feel like you don't need the units and your employer, is not requiring you to enroll in the course, then it's okay. You do not need to enroll in the course. But especially for students who, I would say maybe have an unpaid internship, for example, at least you're able to get academic credit for it anyhow. Another note for international studies majors. So if you are identified as an international studies major, for you as part of your degree requirement, you're required to do kind of this experiential component for your degree. And one of the ways that you could satisfy that is through an internship at like a nonprofit or international related agency or organization. And the course that you would have to enroll in is Social Science 197. So there is I think, bit of a difference in the enrollment process for our international studies majors. So you just have to go onto our website, read a little bit more information about that process. Pretty much you're going to find your specific authorization or enrollment form on the actual International Studies Department webpage. And so just wanted to share that for international studies majors. And then another note, if you identify as an international student, most likely you will need what is called curricular practical training, also known as CPT. This allows you to work at an off-campus site. And so as part of the process of CPT, it actually requires you to enroll in an internship course. So part of the process is you'll have to enroll in Social Science 197 in order to hopefully get approved for CPT and to be able to be authorized to work off campus. So again, there's more information on our actual website, and then we encourage you to get in touch with the International Center or just go to the International Center's website for more information as well. So that pretty much kind of covers the nitty gritty of Social Science 197. And I do want to share more information on how you can get actually in touch with us here at SARC. And so if you're ready to kind of make that step, or if you're ready to just find your first internship, or maybe this is your second internship, we actually encourage you to schedule an appointment with us here at SARC. We're open virtually Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. right now. So you can actually go to sarc.soci.uci.edu, and on the front page right there, you can set up an appointment with us. We can talk to you a little bit more about Social Sciences 197, or if you identify as an international studies major or an international student, we can talk to you more about details about that and your enrollment process. And any other questions that you might have, and maybe it's not related to 197 or internships in general. You can also send us an email if you have any other questions that you just like to communicate with us directly on, at sarc@uci.edu. And then, of course, if you're on social media, we also encourage you to follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We also have a YouTube page, and this recording will actually be uploaded to our YouTube page, and we'll make sure that we email this out to you. But now we have time for some questions. So if you'd like to go ahead and put your questions in the Q&A right now, we'll go ahead and answer those. And then I will also show you how to navigate our website at SARC so that you can take a look at where you need to find all the information about Social Science 197 as well. So let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And I already see that we have a couple questions coming in. So the first question we have is, do on-campus internships count for the course too? So for example, the admin intern program. This is a great question. We actually have quite a few students that do on-campus internships, and they have also enrolled in Social Science 197. But for the admin intern program, you're already actually going to be enrolling in a course through Paul Mirage. So technically, you're already receiving academic credit with the admin intern program. But any other internship that you have on campus and you're not already getting academic credit for it, absolutely, it can definitely count. So for example, we've had some students who've worked for like human resources. We've had students who I think work with athletics, for example. So it certainly is possible. So thank you for that question. Next question that we have is, does international students need CPT for volunteering internship? So that's an interesting question. So if you're an international student seeking to have an actual internship off campus, then yes, you need CPT. But if you're volunteering, let's say off campus, I don't think that you would need, CPT. If you're just volunteering, it's not labeled an internship. But when in doubt, ask the International Center. If you're working on campus and you're an international student, you actually don't need CPT for on-campus opportunities. So I would say speak to an International Center advisor for those specific details. But thanks for asking that question. Let's see, I think we have another one. Can this also be applicable for an internship position with ASUCI? Potentially. So once you submit your authorization form, you have to have an offer letter. So if there's actually someone supervising you, like a professional staff member, it can't be a student or a peer. That wouldn't qualify as, I suppose, a professional internship. And essentially, it should try to be related to what you want to do in the future and related to your major. So I would say it depends. If you can, fill out the form, and then we'll be able to get a little bit more information about what this internship entails and if it would count towards academic credit, and then we'll be able to give you a better answer. All right, so next question we have is, what is the workload like for the class itself, and is it manageable with an already busy schedule? This is such a great question. We get it a lot, actually. Yes, absolutely. It certainly is manageable. And so pretty much what the class looks like is it's bi-weekly assignments. And so every other week, you'll get the option to do one of 3 options. And so there's different assignments that you can potentially do, and you want to pick one that, of course, you're interested in it and it would actually benefit you or help you. So I already mentioned that it can look like, a quick paragraph of a reflection on how you're doing in your internship or what some challenges that you've overcome in your internship. It could be submitting your resume for feedback. It could be taking an assessment and writing about, what your results were, or it could be doing more of a deep dive into some of the careers you're interested in. So I wouldn't say it's super intensive like any regular other class. Hopefully it's enjoyable and something that you're really getting something out of in terms of personally and professionally. And it should kind of coincide with a lot of the things that you're doing in your internship itself. So in terms of the workload, I would say max probably 1 hour. Yeah, I wouldn't spend more than 1 hour on any of those assignments. I don't think it would require that. But a good question. All right, so I think we've kind of caught up with questions here. If you have any more questions, please feel free to submit them. I'm going to go ahead right now and share my screen here so I can show you where you can navigate more information about Social Science 197 on our website. And if there's any more questions that come in, we'll definitely address that too. So kind of bear with me as I share my screen here. All right, so hopefully everyone can see that. So if you go to sarc.soci.uci.edu, we have a Social Science 197 tab, and then you're going to just scroll under here and go to for students. And we have it all broken down into sections. So if you're at that point of, I don't have an internship yet, but I'm really interested in this course, then you would go ahead and click on here and it'll kind of break down on where you can find an internship opportunity. And then we're happy to help you with also with the interview process as well, if you're unfamiliar with that. And then this also breaks down the enrollment process. Here's the link to the enrollment form. And these are the requirements that we need on your offer letter. Okay. And then for your international studies majors and international students, this is where you can find more information about your enrollment process. And then if you're looking for information about the breakdown of the units and the hours, this is where you can find that information too. Here at SARC, I already mentioned that we have a internship database. And so if you go under internships, the internship database is right here. And this is where you can find more information about the internships that past social science students have done. So for example, if you're interested in government and public policy, you can take a look at these documents right here. In these documents, you're actually going to find more information about what is this internship, what are the responsibilities and duties, and how can I apply? So it's just another avenue besides Handshake, and many of these might say apply on Handshake. And so it might take you back over there, but just another place where you can find additional internship opportunities, and some of them aren't on Handshake. So definitely check this internship database out as well. All right, well, I hope that has answered your questions today, and I don't see any more questions in the chat, but please do make a consultation with us. We are happy to help you out in this process. Know that you're not alone, and we look forward to having you in the course in the future. So thank you all so much, and take care. Bye.